Today's truism we're going to take on is one I'm sure you've all heard. Work smarter, not harder. Sounds good, right? And we've all heard it. And there's absolutely some truth to it. But there's a lot like that with most truisms. There's truth, but then we take it too far, and the truism itself oversimplifies what it's really trying to say. And this problem really starts when we stop thinking about what it's actually trying to say and means, and then look at it like a universal rule. And this is especially one of those, because working smarter and working harder are not mutually exclusive. Honestly, let's face it, if you're working smart, won't you get a lot more benefit out of working harder? Now, that's not to say there's absolutely not such a thing as working stupidly and hard, because there absolutely is. You can spend a lot of time, 60 to 80 hours a week, on the wrong priorities or doing bad methodologies or bad systems, and that's working stupidly. I don't want you to pound away at a process that stopped working really well years ago or even days ago, because that's not admirable. Just because you worked hard doesn't mean you get anything, right? So you need to make sure you're working on the right things. So, should we absolutely look for better ways to do things? Certainly. We should eliminate unnecessary work, automate what makes sense, delegate when somebody else can do something almost as good as we can, but cheaper or more efficient. We should always work to improve our processes. And we should be constantly asking ourselves whether the work we're doing is actually worthwhile and contributing to the targeted outcome we're trying to produce. That, to me, is working smarter. Now, but here's where I have a problem with the truism. Somewhere along the line, work smarter, not harder, start implying that if you were really smart and you were working on the right things, you wouldn't have to work very hard. And I just don't think that's true at all. I think that's actually a huge misconception and a problem. Sometimes, after you figured out the right strategy, eliminate all the waste, improve the process, and focused on everything and everyone on the right priorities, there's still a tremendous amount of work to do. There isn't always a shortcut or an easy way, and I firmly believe that when you only do 80% of your efforts, you don't get 80% of your results. I think it's more like you get 20 to 40% of your results. That last 20% push usually is where all the good things happen. And I can tell you, I've built businesses, turned businesses around, and have led major transformations of large organizations, globally and otherwise. I've launched new technologies and products, and I can tell you there's plenty of times when I was very confident I was doing the right thing and knew what needed to be done. And, we were very clear on that. We didn't need a new strategy or a new framework. We just needed to execute. And that execution took a lot of work. And I mean a lot. And so, it doesn't mean my systems or our systems were broken or anything. It doesn't mean we weren't working smart. It means that the objective requires significant effort. And anytime you do anything of a significant challenge or something that's worthwhile, it's going to take effort. So, there's working hard on the wrong things, that's wasteful. And there's sometimes things need to be fixed. If you don't fix them and you still work hard, that's inefficient and wasteful as well. And sometimes that's what high performance challenges you on, working on the wrong things. But that doesn't mean you cannot work hard. You have to work smart and hard if you really want to be successful. And I really believe that. You have to judge smarter really by the outcomes, not by how little effort it takes or how much effort it takes, by what it produces and how efficiently it performs, right? Two people can know exactly what they should do, same thing with companies or salespeople or executives. And one of them can simply execute much more consistently and thoroughly and for longer than the other ones. Which one of those do you think is going to perform better? I think that difference of working harder while you're doing the same things makes a huge amount of difference. And that's where the problem enters in with work smarter and not harder comes into me. Because that effort, that grit, that determination, that drive, that's what people will tell you really makes a difference and puts the high achievers above everyone else. So to wrap this up, think and analyze first what you're doing. Make sure you're working on the right problem. Make sure you're using the best processes and system. Eliminate the work that doesn't make sense. Build the system as effectively as you can, and then work as hard as you can to acquire the objectives and achieve the objectives. And sometimes that might not take as much effort because you're doing things smartly, but other times it might require one heck of a lot of effort. And that's the trouble with this truism, and the trouble with all truisms. There's usually some truth inside each and every one of these. And usually it's pretty sound advice as long as you take it and put it into the right context and understand some of the nuances. So, until next time, be careful when you listen to truisms as default universal truths. Make sure you understand the context at which you should take them. And work smarter and harder to make the best and biggest difference. Thank you.